Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
Everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm sharing with you some really colourful but colourfully cheap palettes that I got from Amazon. So I'm just going to share with you 3 palettes today. The first one is this one, and I think it's pretty obvious what it's trying to be. It doesn't even disguise the fact that it's a dupe for Urban Decay Naked, because it calls itself Naked Eyes Eyeshadow Palette. I will swatch all these in a second. But there you go, that's all the colours. So I think this is probably quite similar to the first original Urban Decay Naked palette. It does give you the idea for some looks here on the back. Again, same colour as the Urban Decay Naked palettes are. The Urban Decay ones are sort of embossed, aren't they, with the writing, whereas this is a print. Let's open it up. And this is by a company called The Colour Workshop. So here we go. So they're sort of in almost in sort of shade order, aren't they? There is a brush. It's not a double-ended one like you get in the Urban Decay ones, it's just a simple one-ended brush. So we'll have a go at those in a second. Now it's pretty obvious what it's trying to be. Next up is something by a company called I'm assuming you say it Ucanbe, and it's the Twilight Dusk palette. So there's no mirror with this. There we go. There are some lovely colours in here, and they are all named as well. It's very reminiscent of Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now if you've got a palette that's very, very similar to this, let me know which one it is. Be interesting to compare them side by side. So you've got a mixture of matte and shimmers. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matte, I would say, although I'm no expert. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shimmer shades. And the third palette that I want to swatch for you today is this one. I have no idea how you say that, but I know it's Butterfly Moulosy. So it looks really pretty. It's got obviously butterflies on it, and it opens up like that. And there we are. This one has got a mirror with it. Now these colours don't look as pigmented as the other palettes so far, but we'll see in the swatch test what they're like. Now this one was super cheap, so I'm not really expecting a lot from this. This was something like £3.31. So if I get some colour out of it, it's fine. It wasn't expensive and it's worth having a try. Oh, and it does have an expiry date on it. It tells you when it was made and when it expired. Okay everyone, swatch time. So I'm going to try this one first. Naked Eyes, the one that's an obvious dupe for Urban Decay Naked. Again, a mixture of some mattes, some shimmers. So I'm just going to go along starting with the lightest one. So this is sort of like a beigey brown. I'm not sure whether that is a matte or a shimmer. It might have a element of shimmer to it. These ones, they've not named the colours, I don't think, so. Next up we've got sort of a pinky shade. Have I got those mixed up now? Let me do the pink one here. Not a lot of pigment in that one, I would say, and it's quite powdery. Right, next one. This one feels a bit smoother. Not a lot of pigment, I would say, but I suppose if you were putting it on your eyes it might show up a lot better. Onto this shimmery shade now, sort of like a reddy brown shimmer, and that one's got more pigment in it. Perhaps it's just the light that I'm looking at it in. So that's that one. Next up, this has got a slight shimmer to it. It's not bad though for the price. Next up we've got another shimmer. This is more of like a goldy colour. And then another sort of darker goldy shimmer colour next. And then sort of like a, I don't know what you call it, mauve. Sort of like a lilac-y, pinky sort of shade. Now a shimmer, sort of purpley colour, pinky purpley. That one doesn't look how I was expecting it to look. It's quite different on. Next up we've got this sort of purpley one here. So we're getting to the darker ones now in this palette. And then next to that is the grey. Sort of a mid-grey, I would say it is. And finally, this dark grey here. So there we are. Probably can't see that now. Don't exactly line up. Yeah, not as pigmented as sort of Urban Decay and other brands, but for the price, it's not bad. Right, next up I've got this Twilight Dusk palette from this brand. I think it says Ucanbe. They have quite a lot of different palettes on Amazon. I will put links to each of these in the description. Remember, they would be affiliate links, but that doesn't change how much these things would cost. But it's up to you anyway. So let's have a look at what we've got here. Now these ones have got names. So we've got 18 shades here. So I'll start with the top row. I'll do them a row at a time. So this one is Desert Sand, and this is a shimmer. Probably applied too much there. Next up is Musk. So I think these are all shimmers on this top row. This one, next one is Eden. That's more of a goldy colour. Next up we've got Amber, which is a pinky shade. Quite impressed with this one so far, actually. Quite a lot of pigment, especially on this one, I think. So that one's Amber, and this one, next one is Blood Moon. Trying to find places where I've not. So Blood Moon, and I don't know how you say it. Is it just O-U-D or is it Oud? Don't know how you say this one. I'm having trouble with my little finger in this hand. I can't straighten it. It's just stuck like that. That's as far as I can move it. I can move it that way, but not that way. Yeah, it's stuck bent like that. So that one's more subtle, I would say, the OUD one. So that's the top row. So we've got Desert Sand, Musk, Eden, Amber, Blood Moon, and OUD. Right, next row is a mixture of some more shimmers, and then there's, I think these four here are matte colours. So first off we've got Celestia, so I think that might be the light that I'm looking at it in, a little bit darker on than it does in the palette. So that's a shimmer. Next up is Nefertiti. And then we've got, I keep wanting to say the name from the row above, Twilight is this next one, which is sort of a, looks like a dark pink. So that's Twilight. Next up is Amethyst. So that one's another matte one. So that's sort of like a orangey brown. Next one is Royal, which is sort of like a yellowy colour. And last one in this row is Retrograde, which looks like it's got a shimmer to it. So there we are. We've got Celestia, Nefertiti, Twilight, Amethyst, Royal and Retrograde. That's them in the ones that I've just applied. Right, final row of this one, and these to me in the pans like this all look to be matte shades, so let's dig in and see whether they are. So this one is Cashmere, so this is the darkest one in the palette, so it's sort of like a, I don't know, sort of smoky black, charcoal grey, something like that. Yeah, that's definitely matte, I would say. That's definitely matte. Next up is Angelic. Yep, that one's definitely matte as well. Next up is Cosmo. That one's quite similar to one of the ones in the Urban Decay Wild West palette. It looks a bit like Cayenne to me, that one. So that's Cosmo. Next up is Turkish Delight. And that one's quite a pinky one. So Turkish Delight. Saffron is next. Again, I would say that's definitely matte. And the last one in this palette is called Blazing, and it's this sort of browny one in the corner here. And there we are. So we've got Cashmere, Angelic, Cosmo, Turkish Delight, Saffron and Blazing. I'm really quite impressed with that actually. The level of pigment in them for the price is amazing. I don't think it was very expensive, this palette, something like £8. When you consider that, I don't know, like Urban Decay just for example, or Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes are like £30–40. something about this size, so that's quite impressive really. The only thing it doesn't have that the other palettes have, it doesn't have a mirror. But yeah, on the whole, that's a thumbs up from me for this one. Right, so last up out of these 3 eye palette sets that I got from Amazon is this butterfly one, and I haven't a clue how to pronounce that. Moulosy, I don't know. I'm not expecting a lot from this. It was only £3.41, something like that. So let's open it up. It is nicely presented. I mean, this is a lovely case. And then you've got all these colours, and you do have a little mirror in the side of this one, so it opens up like that to reveal all these colours. So I'll start this with the ones at the bottom. So this one looks like a shimmer, so it's sort of like a violet colour. And then next to it is another shimmery colour, sort of like a burgundy colour. Wow, I'm amazed at how intense this colour is. There is quite a lot of pigment in that. I am so impressed. I won't say I'm impressed with the whole palette yet, this is just this particular one. But yeah, wow, look at that. Next one is this sort of goldy colour here. Wow, again, so much pigment in that. That's brilliant. And the last one on this row is this grey one, which does look as if it's matte. So I think that's the darkest one in the palette. I think the shimmery ones are looking better than the matte ones in this palette. When you compare the shimmery ones, the intensity of the colour in them. Right, I'll go on to the next row here and then I'll clean up for the next ones. So this looks like a matte one. It's not bad. Not bad. Another matte one, sort of like an orangey brown. Well, that's got quite a bit of pigment in it. And next one is back to the shimmers. Sort of a goldy brown sort of colour. And then finally on this row is this I must say that I am really amazed. I wasn't expecting a lot, so I was deliberately not expecting a lot, so that if it did turn out okay, it's a nice surprise. But yeah, not bad at all. Right, these next 2 rows I'm going to try and get these 2 little arrangements here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you know, I'm a flipping former primary school teacher and I can't for the life of me remember the name for a six-sided shape. Is it a hexagon? Flipping heck. I think it's a hexagon. Right, I'm going to start with this one and I'll start at the top. So I'll move on to this one now. These are a lot more subtle, I would say, a lot less pigment in these. But they are paler colours, so I suppose, would you have a lot of pigment in a paler colour? So this purple now. By the way, I think that middle one is a shimmer. I would say these two are matte. And we're going on to another shimmer one now, which is the purple that's down here. Do you know, the more I'm looking at this one, the more I'm liking it. It's really picking up the light. So that was a shimmer, this one. Onto this one now. This one's another matte. And finally in this section is this shimmery. Oh, that's rather nice. How is this palette only £3.41? I mean, I know there's not a lot in each colour, but wow. So that's that section. So I'll go on to these blue ones here. So I'll start at the top again. Swiping my fingers on my cloth. So this one's a sort of vibrant blue, I would say. Very 1980s, this one. So if you're looking to do a 1980s look, this is the palette for you. So this is a matte. Now a shimmer. This one's sort of getting towards a navy blue. So, no, I'd say it's more like a royal blue. The next one's a navy. That one's a shimmer. That one's a matte. So you can tell by how reflective they are under the light. Right, so on to this navy one now. Now that one has blended out really nice. It was quite intense. I did get quite a bit on my finger, I think, but look at how it's blending out. Wow, I'm just getting more and more amazed by this palette. So that's a matte. Next up we've got this shimmery one here. Wow, that is beautiful. Right, next going back to the pale blues. So one that if he was doing that 1980s look, it would really go well with that one. sticking to me. Oh dear, I've not done that very well. So that's that one. And the last one is that pale, sort of 1980s vibe. Pale blue. I've got to say that I am so thrilled with the quality of this. So nice. Right, I'll just get rid of this and I'll come back and do this last section up here. Right, so onto these, I'll just go from left to right. So I'm going to start with this one. It does look darker in real life than it's showing up on camera. I'd say again it's a bit like a dark red brown sort of colour. Dark red, reddish brown. So that's that one. Next one we've got, this one looks very similar to this one down here. There's a slight difference. So that one by the way is a matte. This next one looks like it's got a shimmer to it. Just for reference, I'm going to try that one next to it. Oh, there is a slight difference, I would say. I think that one's more pink and the one that's here is more sort of lilac-y. Right, onto this one now, which is sort of like a grey blue. Actually, it looks different now that I've swiped it a bit. I think that's a matte. It looks more white now. I think it's probably the light that I'm looking at it in. Next up we've got this rather bold yellow. Again, this one's a matte. So there we are. Next up we've got this one. I don't know if that's showing up, this one. This is a shimmer. Sort of a greyish, almost silvery shimmer. And last one is this pinkish matte shade. So that might work as a blush actually as well. Because I'm a great believer in using products in different ways. So that's that one. So yeah, oh look, I've been leaning on that one and it's sort of picked up on my arm here. So yeah, for that price, this is absolutely amazing. I think it would make such a lovely gift, you know, if you were buying makeup for, I don't know, someone that's just starting out their makeup collection, you know, like a young teenager. It's not really into the big brands just yet. So lovely. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye for now.